G'day guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about this, my golf bag and what is in it for 2024. So I'm going to start from the bottom end of the bag. I'm going to start with the putter. Now, the putter, for me, this is something that I've always historically struggled with putting and getting my ball actually started online. So the putter in my golf bag now for 2024, if you've watched my channel, you absolutely know what this is, and you absolutely know that it's not going anywhere, is the Lab Mez 1 Max. This putter has absolutely transformed my putting. It is just so good at starting the ball online. If you haven't tried a Lab putter, just go and try one. I've done multiple videos over this now. I'll link them in the description. This putter has absolutely transformed my game. It's transformed my putting. It has taken time to get used to it though. I have had to have an adjustment period to get used to it though. It took about 3 weeks, and in that 3 weeks, I did a lot of putting. I really looked at my stroke, and I looked at what I was doing in my stroke, and it did take some adjustment. I still now have to work at not trying to manipulate the club face through impact. And that's because I had a standard putter for so long. For so long, I missed my putts to the right. I always missed my putts right, especially under pressure. I just couldn't close the club face. When I went to the Lab, I actually was missing everything left. And that's because this putter is actually designed to keep the face square to your target or to your the arc of your stroke throughout the entire stroke. And that includes in the backswing, at impact, and follow through. It's designed to stay square to the target. If you look at a lot of standard putters, they're going to sit with a toe hang or they're going to sit facing the sky. This actually sits, it wants to sit facing the target, facing straight. So there was an adjustment period, and it did take me a little bit of time to get used to not manipulating that club face. Now that I've done that, this is going absolutely nowhere. I'm putting better than I ever have, and my horizontal launch angle, my ability to start the ball on my intended line has never been better. So that's the putter in the bag. That is going nowhere. Next up, let's talk wedges. So for the wedges for 2024, I've chosen to go with the TaylorMade MG4s. So MG4s, these wedges are absolutely incredible. The amount of spin that these generate. Look, I did have old Vokeys, and I love my Vokeys, but I had those Vokeys for a long time, and over the years, the wedges do deteriorate. There's no denying that. The actual grooves deteriorate to a point where they stop producing as much spin, and they stop producing as much consistent spin, especially under wet conditions when you've got moisture on the ground. You tend to get flyers, you tend to get inconsistencies with your spin. What these TaylorMade MG4 wedges have done is the actual texture on the face is just next level. I mean, it feels rough when you actually run your finger over them. But what that does is it displaces water. So it displaces water, and also the actual finish that they use on these wedges and the irons that I'm going to show in a second, it is designed to displace water, so you get the same spin, the same consistent spin, no matter what conditions you're in. So you can play on a wet day, you can play on a dry day, you're still going to get that consistent spin, and you're going to know what the golf ball's going to do. So these have been fantastic. I run a 60 degree, a 56 and a 52. For the 60 degree, I have the Tiger Woods version of this wedge. The same with the 56, it is the TW version. And the reason I went with the TW versions for these wedges is because these offer a different bounce, and I'll try and show that now. But what these offer is just a slightly different bounce on the sole of the wedges. I'll put up some pictures, but you can see the 60 degree there has that cutout there at the front. So that's just offering it. What it's going to do is it's going to allow you to manipulate the club face depending on what shot you're trying to hit, and you're going to be able to get the club laying flat. You're going to be able to, move it forward and take bounce off. You're going to be able to manipulate the bounce on the club a lot easier and play a lot of different shots. When you look at something like the 52, I've got the 52 just in a standard bounce configuration. This is a 9 degree bounce, but you can see the actual bounce of the club is actually uniform across the whole wedge from front to back. It's very consistent, it's very uniform. Whereas you look at the TW version, we'll go the 60 degree for instance. So we've got the 60 degree there. you can see that the actual bounce there is quite different at the front. So it's just offering you the ability to manipulate the bounce and play a lot of different shots. I will get into that in more depth in upcoming videos, so stay tuned for that. But wedges of choice, we have gone with the MG4s. And like I said, I haven't had TaylorMade wedges for years. I mean, we're talking 10 plus years I haven't had TaylorMade wedges. The previous TaylorMade wedges I had to these were the ones that you could actually take the face out. I forget the name of them, but you could unscrew the face and replace the actual face of the wedge. We're talking years since I've had TaylorMade wedges. These have come a long way. These are very, very different to those wedges. Those TaylorMade wedges back in the day, I really didn't enjoy those, and that's why I went back to Titleist Vokeys. I actually really enjoy these wedges, and I enjoy the way they feel and sit. They look different to Vokeys. You're not going to get the same look as a Vokey. Obviously, it's a different type of wedge. These just look and feel like quality products. If you look at the construction and you look at the build, I mean, these are seriously nice looking and feeling wedges. So those are the wedges of choice. For the shafts, I've got the Project X 6.5. These are the standard Project X. They're not the wedge version of the shafts. They're not the flighted versions or anything like that. They're just the standard Project X 6.5s. Okay, let's talk irons. And I've done something different with the irons. Something that I think more and more people would benefit from doing this. And I've actually got a mixed set. Let me explain. So my pitching wedge through 6 iron, I'm actually playing the P7 MCs, the TaylorMade P7 MCs. These are a ridiculously good looking set of clubs. I mean, honestly, they are insanely good looking clubs. Really, really nice clubs. They have that same texture, that same finish as the wedges. And like I said, it's like a hydrophobic coating on the actual wedge. It displaces water. So the irons are all about displacing water, so you get that consistent spin, that consistent flight on the ball, no matter what conditions you're in. But these irons, I mean, they just look so nice. They are forged irons, they're super soft. I'll talk about all the adjustments I made to the irons and to the wedges shortly. This is just an overview at the moment. For these shafts, I do also have the Project X 6.5s. These are the standard ones. I like to match. I've just matched my wedge and my iron shafts. I haven't changed it. Potentially, I could have put 6.0s in my wedges, or I could have got the Project X wedge shafts, but it was just easier and more simple for me just to stay consistent through the bag and just get the 6.5s in wedges and irons. Okay, so that's pitching wedge through 6 iron. What have I chosen for the 5 and 4 irons? Well, I have chosen my 5 and 4 irons are the P770s. And these things are absolute weapons. I mean, honestly, if you want to pick up distance, these are no joke. This 5 iron and the 4 iron, they are, you hit bombs. They seriously go long. You can really feel, for me, I'm a decent player, you can really feel the difference between the forged irons. Now, these are forged as well, but you can really feel the hollow body construction, the hollow body face on the 5 and 4 iron versus the MCs. It feels a little different and it takes a little bit to get used to, but what I can say is the 5 and 4 irons, they are just cannons, especially the 4 iron. I mean, I can carry that thing 220, 225, which is what I wanted because I will be doing a video over a bag map in the future and I'll show you exactly why I've chosen these clubs. But 5 and 4 iron, they do have that same finish, that same hydrophobic or coating on the actual clubs, so they displace water. Yes, these spin a little bit less than the MCs, but they fly nice and high, so they do have a lot of stopping power. For the shafts, again, Project X 6.5s. Okay, so that's pitching wedge through 4 iron. What comes next? Well, instead of getting a 3 iron, I find the long irons hard to hit. Instead of getting a 3 iron, I've actually got a hybrid, and I have done hybrids for a long time, but this hybrid is the QI10 Tour. It is the 3 iron hybrid. It's a 19.5 degree. I'll just show that now. So that is the hybrid of choice, and this thing is fantastic. What I will say is I do like my old hybrid. I think the old hybrid I had was a lot easier to hit. This Tour version is very squat. It's very short back to front, which means it's going to be more of a penetrating ball flight, but it is a little bit harder to hit. For the shaft, I have the Hazardous 6.5 black. I'll show that now. It is a 90-gram shaft, so that is the shaft of choice. So yeah, the jury's out whether I keep this in the bag or potentially maybe even go back to my old hybrid. When I'm talking about gapping though, this thing does fit perfectly into where I need it to be. So for now, this is in the bag. Okay, next up, the fairway wood of choice. The fairway wood that I've gone with is the QI10 Tour. This is actually a 5-wood. But what I've done is, for me, I always find 3-wood very hard to hit off the deck. Off the tee I'm fine, but off the deck I always tend to struggle with 3-wood and staying on top of it. I tend to lose it behind me. So what I thought I'd do is I thought I'd get a 5-wood this time. What I've done though is I've lofted it all the way down into the lower settings. So this is actually playing as a 16-degree, I'm going to call it a 4-wood. And then I've moved this weight cartridge that you have with the QI10s all the way in. So that's going to reduce the spin. So my theory with this one is I'm trying to make a 4-wood. It's got a 5-wood shaft in it, so it's going to play a little bit shorter than a normal 4-wood would play, but that's what I wanted. So I've got a 5-wood lofted all the way down to a 4-wood loft, and then the actual port slid all the way in. So this is the fairway wood of choice. Again, we've got the Hazardous Black 6.5. This is a 70-gram shaft, and I love this thing. It fits into just about where I need it to be. I would love to get 5 to 10 more yards of carry out of it, but it actually fits quite nicely into where I need to gap it in my bag. So that's the fairway wood of choice. Okay, finally, that just leaves one more club. This will be a bit of a curveball, I think, to a lot of people. I do have the QI10. I have the QI10. It's not currently in the bag. Right now, in my bag is actually the Aerojet LS. And yes, this is a old club. Well, I say old, it's only a year old. The Dark Speed is out. This is not the Dark Speed. This is the Aerojet LS. I actually bought the QI10 first, and I'm gonna do a lot of testing because I'm still not 100% on this club. When you talk about low spin clubs, the QI10 LS driver is meant to be a low spin club. So what I did with the QI10 LS is I got the 10.5 and I actually lofted it down 2 degrees, the driver, to make an 8.5. What I found though is it seems to be a lot higher spinning than I thought it would be compared to my old TaylorMade, my old Sim 2. With the Sim 2, it was so low spinning that I actually wanted a 10.5. And so that's why I thought I'd get the 10.5 in the QI10 because it would be a low spinning driver. What I found there with the QI10 is even though it's the LS version, it's still it's much more higher spin than my old Sim 2 and much more higher spin than the Cobra. So I've almost found that the QI10 spins a bit too much for me personally. And so when I got this Aerojet, this is a much lower spinning driver than the QI10. So the QI10 is going to be a lot more forgiving, but I'm going to be giving up a little bit of distance because it's spinning a little bit more. However, it is a bit more forgiving. So I will be doing a head-to-head test against the QI10 LS driver and the Aerojet, so stay tuned for that. But at the moment, in the bag is the Aerojet LS. This driver, it's honestly a beast. The shaft of choice, it actually came with a Kai Lee 60X, so that is currently what's in there. Okay, so let's talk adjustments. What did I do to my clubs once I got them? Well, the first thing I did is I like to use lie angle to actually influence or help where the ball starts. So for me personally, my miss is always left. As with my other set of clubs, my irons, I play everything 2 degrees flat. When it comes to the wedges, I actually play them 3 degrees flat. And that's because when I'm playing, especially outdoors, when I hit the ball, if that heel catches at all, it just snaps the club face over and shots go left. Left is my miss, and so therefore with my lie, I like to really influence my start line and influence my shot shape based on that lie angle. Yes, you can get a lie angle when you come through impact, sits perfectly square. For me, I much prefer using lie angle to actually influence where the ball's starting and influence shot shape. So for me, I like my clubs playing a little bit flat just because it helps me start the ball online and actually helps with my miss being left. It gets the ball a bit more to the right. Also with my wedges, I don't really grip down the actual shaft when I play my shorter shots, so I like having them a bit flatter. And when I'm manipulating the club face, when I'm laying it open, when I'm adjusting the actual lie, when I'm standing closer to the ball, I like having a flatter lie angle. It presents the actual toe of the club a bit more to the ground and actually minimizes the chance of hitting those chunks. So wedges, 3 degrees flat, the irons are 2 degrees flat. Now with lofts, I actually had to play around with the lofts of my clubs a fair bit when I got them. When I initially got these, I always go and check your lies and lofts. That's all I'm going to say. Even when you get a brand new set of clubs, check your lies and lofts. When I initially got these, I was hitting the pitching wedge and the 9-iron really, really short. I took them to my local guy who I take all my clubs to. He did my lofts and lies. He actually found that the 9-iron and pitching wedge had 3 extra degrees of loft as per the spec sheet. So lofts and lies, go and get them checked. Even if you get your lies done from the factory and your lofts are obviously going to be done at the factory, go and double check when you get your clubs with someone that you trust. I also had to think about the considerations between the gapping. So the 4 and 5 iron, they are P770s, so they are going to go a lot further than my MCs. So what I've done is I've actually weakened the lofts of my P770s a degree, and I've actually strengthened the lofts of my MCs, everything by a degree. This is for my gapping, and I will do a whole video on gapping and helping you and showing you how to actually gap your clubs. But what I found for me is I needed to do that. Otherwise I had a massive gap between my 6 iron and my 5 iron. I've spoken about the 5 wood or the 4 wood. With the hybrid, that's on standard settings. The driver is on standard 9 degrees for the Cobra Aerojet. For the QI10LS, I actually have it lofted all the way down to 8.5 degrees, and I have the weight in the heel, which is a draw position. Also on the Aerojet, I have that with a draw position on the actual driver, so the heavy weight's in the heel. Both of those drivers are fade bias drivers, so what I found for me is I actually, surprising, I thought I'd have the weight all the way in the toe, but I've done testing on both of them and I actually hit better shots with the weight in the heel. Okay, so that is the irons, that's the clubs. Now, let me take you through my golf bag. Okay, so the actual golf bag I have is a Sunday golf bag, and this thing, I have done videos on it before. It's absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend Sunday golf bags. This is their bigger bag. This is the Rider golf bag. It's their full size golf bag. It does fit a full set of clubs. I've got all my clubs in there. I also can fit my speed sticks in there when I go away. So it's a fantastic bag. It's not going to be, however, as big as your standard carry bag. So you're not going to be able to fit everything that you can fit in a normal carry bag. However, for me, it's plenty big enough. On the actual bag itself, I have a Sunday golf towel. These things are awesome. And then my favorite thing I have on my golf bag is my groove it brush. I'm obsessed with keeping my clubs clean, with keeping my grooves clean, because when you look at your numbers, if your clubs aren't clean, they're going to change. If you've got dirt in your grooves, you're not going to get as much spin. So I am obsessed with keeping my clubs clean. It just magnets onto your golf bag. It's a fantastic brush. You push this button and some water will squirt out on your club. Fantastic. Highly recommend the Groove It brush. Coming into the back pocket, we'll talk about golf balls. So for the golf balls, I've got some sunscreen there. For the golf balls, I play a Pro V1, and for the markings, I actually do a dot and then a line with the 2 lines there on the side. That's my marking, and ball of choice, Pro V1. With the Sunday golf bag, you do get the frosty pocket as well, so you can keep some drinks cold. They're fantastic bags. As you can see there, insulated pocket there for your drinks. Make sure you check out the video on the Sunday golf bag, because honestly, they are fantastic. Side pocket, I've got this little bag, TPC Sawgrass, home of the players. I have played there in real life. Such a fun course. Tees, I just use the 3-prong tees, plastic. I've got a little lineup. That's how I do my ball markings. Other stuff in here, I've got some Nurofen, Panadol, and also some cables there. So that's the side pocket. Coming around to the other side, Looking in the main pocket, there isn't a lot of stuff in here, but in the main pocket, I've got the actual rain hood for the golf bag. I've got a little mirror, this golf bug. This, I don't actually know if this has actually come out as a product. I was at a golf show years ago, and this little mirror was something that I found really interesting, and I still use it today. But you pop this off, try and do it one-handed, and you can put this in the actual lid. And then when you set it up, you've actually got a mirror there so you can see your setup and you can see your swing. So pretty cool little product, real compact mirror. Instead of carrying around one of those massive, you know, circle mirrors that are huge, this is so compact and you can fit it in your golf bag. Really, really neat idea. I've got a rain glove, tailor-made tool to adjust the clubs if required. And then I have a little putting mirror. What else do I have in here? Got a couple of golf gloves. So you can fit a fair few things in there. For my distance measuring equipment, I have a Garmin S70. Thank you, Sam from Bayside Golf. If you want to get one of those, definitely check out Bayside Golf. But yeah, that is the golf bag of choice and that is what's in it. Definitely check out Sunday Golf Bags. They honestly are some of the best golf bags I've used. They've got this really nice carry handle at the back as well, real sturdy. And the way that you actually strap it onto the cart, you've got a valuables pouch here, but the strap can actually pass underneath your valuables pouch. So they've thought about that as well. So you're not crushing everything, you're not crushing your phone or anything in your bag. Okay, so that is my What's in the Bag 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions. If you've got questions, put them down in the comment section below and I will try and get to them. If you did enjoy that, I would appreciate a like, I would appreciate a follow, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.